What's up, gang? We're jumping back to the strikes and spares again. I got the new MPU in, but we need to get some work done before we can throw it in and start it. So I want to finish the cleaning up, and I'll probably do the cleaning off camera, but we're going to jump in and check the boards and make sure we have good voltages and make sure nothing's going to short out and fry the new MPU. So that would be bad. Stick around. Let's get this playing tonight. I was going to clean everything on camera and stuff, but we did this section last time. I think that's good enough. Everybody kind of knows how to clean a pinball machine, and that'll give you a good enough idea. Any of these plastics that I end up leveling out, I will show that again. But I just want to knock this out because it'll hog up a bunch of time, and we really want to get to the fun stuff and get into this back box and start making sure these boards work. I'm gonna at the very least reflow all the boards. Well, there's 2 boards left to go, and we'll visually inspect it, and then I can test any parts that look like they may be bad, test the fuses, stuff like that. If there's any fuses blown, I might have to look a little bit closer. Then we'll take a look underneath the play field, make sure all the solenoids are free, none of them are seized or anything. Just kind of take a look at it and make sure that we don't spike this board when I first get it. But let me go ahead and finish cleaning this up, and then we'll get to that. All right, we got the playfield clean. Kind of hard to tell. I got the old MPUs sitting here. Just want to show you the damage that they have. Let's see, this is the spare here that I got. And neither one of them are really bad. This one's still got the battery on it. Let's see if I can get a little closer. But everything pretty much all across here is bad. That's Willow loving on the tripod. And you can see on the other side. And it makes its way all the way across the ground plane, up most of it. And then anything that's like dull and not really shiny is definitely suspect. You see like all of this in here, some of these connectors. So it's definitely it would take a while. And then we have this one over here. This is the original to the machine, I do believe. Let me back out. Come on, my fingers won't work. There we go. And this one is mostly just on this outer rim. And we do have one trace up that way. But a lot of the components, the only thing that really looked bad were anything touching. That looks pretty bad. Oh, I think that's bad. But anything that was touching this, like let me see if I can find, there's one spot where there's a bank of resistors that were all toast. And you can kind of see there. It's pretty nasty. So that's what I was kind of trying to avoid by getting the new MPU. It's like I don't want to start on this repair and on this restore with this kind of headache. So I'll set these right here and over here for now. We went this route. Oh, Willow, well, come on. Stepped on her tail. Okay. So I've gone this route before, and I was pleased with how this worked. And my other machine, the Harlem Globetrotters, the only thing I had a problem with at that time was the MPU with leaky battery. Can you see that shimmering in the... I guess it's the light. Is it this light? Get rid of it. No, it's the DeWalt light. Okay, so I've already set the this is the features here, and then I've set for which machine we're using here, and then if you flip this far left one here, that's for free play because I want to do that. But we still have work to do up here in the back box. Let me see. This tripod's a little shorter than my other one. So we're going to take out both of these boards and check them out, but I already found a problem right in here. Can't really, let me just take you off here. All right, going free-handed for a minute. So right there, where's my finger? There it is. That guy is totally burnt. This is a 251822. It is a newer driver board than what's usually in here, so it does have some upgrades to it. But I want to at least change that, check all these parts, and then if I can get out of the light enough, you see this fuse is just shoved way down in here. That fuse clip is shot, so that's definitely a problem. We can change that out. And I know there's a bunch of mods I think that can be done, but since I have this 22 board, I'm not sure on that. What I was reading was for the 18. But they're not too far apart, so I'm assuming they're similar. And this here is for the 18. It's got a number too, I just can't find it. Let's see. Oh, where did I see it at? It's on here somewhere. I'll show you when I pull it out. But I want to test all these fuses, just do the basic stuff. I might go ahead and change these pins on these edge connectors. But eventually I'm in this series, I just want to try to fire it up and see if it'll come on. But I want to do all the header pins on everything, all the connector pins, and get that changed out. But we might do these pins on these bigger ones. I know I have these. I think they're 0.156s. I think that's it. It's got an extra pin on it, so that's maybe upgraded too. But yeah, we can do those for sure. I might have the pins for these other little ones, and if I do, we'll do those too. Just kind of a, precaution. And then we'll reflow anything that looks suspicious, and then if we have voltage issues, then I'll just go into the internet and we'll look up that repair guide and see what it says. Hopefully it includes the 22. It probably just is going to be the same thing. There's just going to be minor upgrades and differences. I gotta change that light. That's going to drive me crazy. Hopefully you guys can't see that and it's just me. But I'm going to go ahead and pull these out. And I guess I was going to install this in, but where I was going to screw it in, you can see it's got some crud on it. So I'm definitely not going to let it touch that. I'm going to clean all that crud off of there first. So let me do that and pull these boards, and then we'll start to look at them and start testing some stuff. And hopefully that resistor is just because there's a cruddy fuse. I doubt it, but hopefully there's not a whole lot of problems and we can move on past it. But it does need, like I said, header pins at least. And I'm sure this repair guide's probably going to tell us about 45 things to do. They usually do, just to make them modern, make them run smoother, which, well, I want to do everything that's in there because I plan on keeping it. So I'll pull that and then we'll come right back. I'm going to include Willow because if I include her, she's less likely to knock stuff over and aggravate us. See, do you want to play pinball? Oh, she's not interested in YouTube today. She does like to play pinball, so we'll get her involved at the end, hopefully. I'm not a fan of this tripod. It's just too small, too much of a travel tripod for me. Not to mention Willow kicks its butt. So I got the power. Yeah, I'm talking about you. I got this driver board off of here, and here is the, can't get any light over to this part. Let's see, move this guy a little closer. Okay, so here's this burnt resistor. It's burnt pretty good. It's not totally gone, but it's burnt pretty good. And other than that, visually on the front, or the component side, I don't see any obvious. It's kind of bulging there. Both of these caps probably need to be replaced. But when we come, I do want to show this. Okay, so if we look at our pins, they're kind of pulled out and down. You can tell how somebody pulled it out, probably including me. And they're all kind of like that. That one's spread out pretty good. These on this side aren't bad. But that causes situations like this. Let me find one. I had a couple in mind to show. Okay, here's one here. So this first pin here, I wish I could get it close enough and good light. I don't know if you can see, but it is definitely cracked. You can kind of see it there. And we have another one on this side. I think it was same thing on pin 1. Yeah. Yep. Why am I have no light? So weird. That's just not bright, that's why. So that very first pin there, it's also cracked. So that's pretty much from pulling the connectors off harshly. So we're gonna have to reflow that stuff, and you can see the burnt resistor here. There's several suspect pads on here, but I didn't see anything significant. I want to trace this guy back and see what all it runs through, and make sure we test all that stuff. Because it's burning up for a reason. It's not just getting hot one time and failed. So we need to find out that reason too. But this came out of a different machine, so it could have been, I have to look, I'm not sure what's in that circuit, but it might be something from the playfield of that other machine that's not on this one. We could have a completely different problem with the playfield in this machine. So we're going to be a little trial and error, and that's why I did want to kind of get to a point where we can turn it on and find out what else is wrong with the machine. But for now, I'm going to reflow it. I'm going to replace that if I can find the value. I'm going to order, hopefully there's a rebuild kit for these, and then check all these solenoids to make sure they're not shorted. And I think that's about all I can do, at this moment. So I don't have these caps. I don't even know what the heck that thing is. It's cool looking though. But we also have a pot up here that's this is the high voltage area. Oh, we want to check this fuse, but also replace these fuse clips, because anytime you had to shove a fuse that far in, catch the light here. It is a hard spot. Is that better? Okay. It is just shoved all the way down in there. Man, it's hard to catch the light. It's daylight outside. What's the problem? It is all the way down in the bottom. It's supposed to be, there's a little holder so that it doesn't hit all the way in the bottom. So usually if you see one that far, there's either not a connection being made, or the fuse clip was totally out. And I don't see the problem as being the back side of the board. This board is a little bit older than this machine. But I'm going to go ahead and take that and do a little research on that, and then we'll take a look at this. I think it's the lamp driver and switch matrix board that's over here. And once I get that out, I'm going to kind of clean the bottom of this out, and then I'm going to sand off all that crud off of there and give it some vinegar, neutralize it. And then we also have this board that's over here. I'm just going to carry you over there. I want to check that board too. It's got all the fuses and everything, so this is where it's going to start getting hairy. We're going to have to start getting dirty, and cleaning time's over. That was the easy part. But let me see what's wrong with this, and I'll report back.
I'm Walter Day, the father of esports, and you're watching Matty Mo's Arcade.
All right, let's get a little better look at this here. So this transistor here, this is a lot better with the bigger tripod. Can't get in that close. Okay, so I don't have anything near this value. It's a 2 watt. I don't think I even have any 2 watt resistors. And I could put together like, 2 1 watts or such and such and do the math. But then I need to replace these caps anyway, so I can't really trust anything that's on here. Well, there are some things I did test, so. But so instead of doing that and just trying to get it turned on today, there's a lot to do still. What I did do is I tested all of these and they're good. There's a quick way where it's not 100%, but you can tap your negative or your black lead onto the ground, and then you hit the leg that's over here. My weight's off and the Lazy Susan's rolling, or maybe it's the other leg. I think it was this leg. And you get a reading of like 3 or 4, 0.3 or 4, and then on the other side it's just 0. And it's just an idea, but they all read the same, so they're either all good or they're all bad. And then this board runs the ground out and then back in. So what they recommended to do was to tie in the ground. Let me angle this a little better. So off of those capacitors, take the negative leg, and they're marked, and you run it to ground, and you just find that, I marked it here, that ground test point, and so I knew that was ground, so I ran that one there, and this outside line here is ground too, so I ran that one there. Yeah, you can see that. And then this one over here, they recommend tying in test point 3 and test point 4, I think it was. No, it's not 5, it's 1 and, where'd it go, damn it, down here. 1 and 3. Yeah, 1 and 3. So I just ran a red wire there, and red because I knew it was power. I think that's the same thing with that one, but it's the 5 volts. It runs off the board and then back in. So, you know, your 5 volts that's over here and your 5 volts over here, this 5 volts, it travels a lot farther to get to where you need it at. So that was a pretty no-brainer. And I'm going to order, I think it's Arcade Parts and Repair. It's because it's downhill. That's what the problem is. I have it on I bought a Lazy Susan for this thing for like $5. No, it's like $10 on Amazon. But there's no brake, so this heavy board is just turning itself. I'm gonna go ahead and replace all the header pins and the pins inside the connector in the Molex connectors. There's I think it was Arcade Parts and Repair has the kit that has everything for this. No, was it this? No, it was the MPU. But they have all the connectors, and there's somebody else has them on eBay too, and it was kind of pricey. But most of the problems on all pinball machines this age are the connection in between the header pins and the pins themselves, or the terminals, or whatever you want to call them, male and female connections. The oxidation, then once you have some oxidation, you have like intermittent connection, which will cause soot as it's sparking, and it's just all kinds of mess. That's why you see burnt connectors and stuff like that. So we're not, instead of, I wasn't going to half-ass it, but I was just going to try to get it where it would come on today so I could at least hear some music and be excited about it. Okay, but I'm excited about it no matter what. I spent forever like messing with touch-up paint, and I wasn't even on camera. Let's see if I can. There's a little spot like right here where that N is that was all bashed out. But my paint matches. I just didn't get a good job on it yet. I was just making sure. I want to clean out the bottom of this while we got the boards out, and then I want to check this little rectifier board over here and make sure the fuses are good on it. And then I'm going to write down any parts off of it that I need. And I remember on some of these displays, I think I mentioned it in the last video, there's a couple burnt resistors on there, and I think they tested fine, but I'm going to go ahead and replace them anyway because they're probably original. And then we can just look for cold solder joints, kind of like every other board. Even the driver board is the same way. Any place where the connectors were pulled off, like you see, this one will be pulled off this way because this is the bottom. So these bottom pins were all broken on the back. There's another reason you're going to have a bad connection. Every single one of them. Because you pull and it comes off loose at the top, and the bottom, your hand still holds it in and just bends them and breaks the solder. So I'm going to take care of that as well. And then we're going to get rid of this. All those pins are going to be gone. I'm not going to worry about the housing. They're usually fine. I'm pretty good at removing it. And then like I was showing you, this corner down here has got a lot of alkaline damage on it, so we're going to get rid of that. And oh, it's that one up there, I think. It's the one for our MPU. I guess I could move it up higher to that. Talking not in frame again. I could move it up to the set that's higher, because I think that's where it wants me to put it anyway. But I'm going to clean that off because I don't want it to flake down onto the lamp board here, and I'll show you why. Make sure I'm not zoomed in too much. I always check this guy because it's right underneath there. Come on. Focus, focus. There, kind of. All right, let me get this light right up on here. Spotlight this thing. If you can see, one of them is camouflaged and blends in with the board, and it's like all green and corroded. Now you can see it. So we're gonna pull that guy, and I guess that happened, and this machine wasn't running. Looks like there's a. Has that got it on it too? I think it does. Yeah, looks like it just dripped on it, but there's no evidence on the backside, and didn't tear anything up. But it definitely smoked that resistor, that transistor. So we're gonna get rid of that and put it in a new one of those. That's not a big deal. And this one, it's just switches and lights. So if there's a problem with that one, we'll fix it on the fly. Let's see here. I know for sure, like I was saying, I have the pins for the bigger Molex, and I think I have some that would work, like if I was out in the field and needed to fix something, but I don't think mine are long enough. They might be. I'll try I have a little connector over there. I'll try one in there. And then, yeah, let's see. This guy's like wired in too. It's a pain in the butt. Let's just check the fuses real fast while we're on camera. I'm going to kind of go over pinning these connectors and doing the headers on the same video. Makes more sense. Let's check these fuses. Pull one leg if possible. Put that one away. Alright. Let's see, here we go. Am I on the wrong setting? I am. That's good. That part's good. And I do believe, yeah, this one is original to the machine. It's never come out. It doesn't mean that something didn't blow and then somebody changed the fuse and then we found it, 10 years later. But we'll definitely find out, because we're gonna test all the voltages before we ever turn the new MPU. It's made by Altec. Okay, so the last thing I want to do is I'm gonna pull the playfield or the glass off again, and I want to real quick just show you the plastics. They are bad. There we go. It focused. You can kind of see it there. You can see how I actually flattened it because there's a slot this big in each screw up there. So I pushed it down and then put the screw in, and it's kind of started to creep back up on its own. I'm going to take those plastics off. They're really kind of warped, and then show you what I do with those. And it's only been since I got this new heat gun from DeWalt, and it's I think it's sitting right here somewhere, isn't it? Yeah, here it is. Oh, I just knocked my drill off. So, it never lets me zoom back out with those two fingers. So I've been using this. Definitely, I don't use it with this battery. It just has it in there to stand up. But it is great for these plastics, and it's great for heat shrink. I love it. I like never break out my heat gun for doing heat shrink unless I'm doing a lot of wiring in one place. But let me go ahead and pull those out and then get a board or something set up. or a little table so we don't have to do this on the glass. And I need to find something heavy and flat. Okay, be right back. All right, I was wrong. I do have the right pins for repinning both of these style of connectors. Some little itty bitty guys for the red ones, and then the bigger ones are for the white ones. So let's see, this one's nice. Nice long cord. All right, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. All right, so this is how I do it. I usually get one of these little picks from Harbor Freight, and there's on the back side of this little opening here, like right there, there's like a little skateboard ramp from this part up to the top of the plastic housing. So what we're gonna do is just get this little pick and just push down on it real good, and then get from the front, and you should be able to push it out. If not, put it down a little bit more. Oh, this one's stubborn. Usually they come out much easier than this. My pick might be a little too big. So the other way I'll do it is just push down and drag it out and push it through there. Yeah, this one doesn't want to go down. Figures the one I picked. All right, let's start with a different connector. What an asshole. Get one closer. Try this one. Okay, so we got a red one way out here. We'll try. It's a little shinier of a pin. See if we can get that one out. Let's do the same thing. My technique is not working all of a sudden. There we go. So, we'll zoom in. Right here on the top of the pin, on this flat part, see that little guy right there. So if you just needed to, say, move wires around, say you needed that 7 pin to be in the 6th spot, or vice versa, you pop this out. You just want to pop that little flat back up. Boy, these are hard. Usually it's not this hard. Probably because I had to shove on it so much. But you get a little bit better screwdriver, and you can pop that little tab back up, and then you can move it, say, you know, up here into this one, and then you can move this one over here. A lot of times you have to do that either to rewire something or to, like if you screwed up, or if you're rewiring it because you're like maybe putting a new video cable on a different monitor or something. But it's pretty handy, much easier than you know, crimping all new connectors and everything. But these actually, they need it. We're gonna do every single one, and you just want to cut enough bare off of there that it's gonna fit in the little crimp terminal. Let's see. That's probably even too much. There. All right, so I'm gonna try about like this. Not very much. And I'm gonna take one of my pins, and depending on what kind of crimper you have, it might be a different process. Mine is an old automotive one, I do believe. And for this style of pin, there's like a focus. Hang on. It's in like a little V. That's a little too big for my crimper. So I just take some needle nose and just tighten it up a little bit. And I have these ratcheting crimpers. So open them all the way up, find myself a spot, and I put it where it's just flush on the end of my crimper. Like I said, you might have different ones that might be easier or harder. So I get it nice and flush right there, and then I start it until it starts to smash down a little bit. It doesn't matter how bad that is, as long as you get it in there. Okay, so see how it's starting? Okay, now it'll hold the pin. So then when I come here, let me move it this way. So when I come this way, it'll hold on to that pin and not push it out. Got one little strand hanging out there. And when you get it in there, I just squeeze, get it all the way squeezed, ratchet it open, and now we'll have to cut that little thing off. Come on. Okay, and now the next part is you want to find your flat part. Now I can zoom in again, and you can see the little tab that's up there. That's what catches and keeps it from coming back. Around this red one, or this white one. So you want to take that flat part and make sure that it goes into the groove that's here, that's open. Otherwise, it's going to look the other way around. So you'll see this side, and you'll know you're backwards. And hopefully you didn't hang it in there. But you put this flat part in there with a little tab, and you'll hear it click. Click. Good. So I'm going to grab a Sharpie and mark this. You don't want to do like a crazy mark, because somebody later on might think you're doing it for a reason other than this. Just want to know which side I started on. Get thirsty. So let's try another one. This is the screwdriver I usually use when I do this. I'm going to try it with this one. So I just push down on it. These pins are definitely tougher. All right, get it out. So you really don't have to do that. I mean, you could cut it out, cut the wire off, and then get it out if you want. Since you're not worried about saving the pin and rehousing that same wire, it's not as big of a deal. I just ended up shooting those everywhere, but that's how it goes. You definitely want to remember where you pulled it out. So this one was right next to the red, so it's not a big deal. But it's easy to forget, especially when you're like filming and talking and bullshitting, trying to make up stories and be interesting. At least it's all on video, right? Like I said, you just need enough to fit inside the connector, the pin, terminal, whatever they want to call it. See, I could be smart and get myself out 4 or 5 next time and smash them and get ready. I gotta open it all the way up. Okay. Most of the time it ain't gonna do it today. Most of the time they stay standing up straight. See what I'm doing. So I almost got it closed too much there. That's why my little wires are peeling back. And if you have a lot of those strands that are hanging out, then you can have shorts, because those little wires might touch each other in between pins. This one's got kind of a flat spot on one side, so I'm going to trim that off. That'll keep it from actually going in the housing. So I probably need to find a better slot. It's every little time we have to screw with something like that. That's a lot of time, and as you can see, There are lots of pins to do, which I'm not going to make you guys watch all of them, just enough so that you can get the idea. And if you know how to do it, that's cool, but there could be somebody that doesn't. I'm sure there is. And if you have the tools, it's really not that difficult. It's just time consuming. But after you do 1 or 2 connectors, you start to get a system down. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, I have a bunch of blanks, so I want to count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 blanks, and then my yellow wire that I have. And now I'll go back to the pick, and then eventually I'll figure out which one I like better for these pins that I'm working on. So it'll be different pins and different machines. It's out already. And so a different tool might work different. I always try to keep the length the same. If you have one that's way shorter than one of the other ones, your connector won't sit right. And I'm gonna do a few of these. And then we'll try a couple different spots on that crimper and see if we can't find something a little better. Usually when I do this and I start them, they'll stand up straight, and they won't have as much like little excess crap after you crimp them. So that's what tells me that I'm in the wrong spot. Better crimper, you probably won't have that problem. I've never even used another crimper, so I don't know what they're like. I could be using one that's like terribly difficult. Okay, we need to snip some of this off. There's Ice Cream Man. We also have different gauge wire we're dealing with. Typically that thicker stuff is AC wiring. Okay, so we were using this big one on that side. Let's try to use one of these littler guys over here. Definitely not smashed enough. We get a lot more for that. Okay. Okay, see how that's holding it? There we go. That's holding it a lot better. And luckily this is a nice thin wire, so we can poke it through there easier. And so if you have a machine, let's say it's older than 1995 probably need to do this to your machine. Or if you have any kind of intermittent, like minor problems, these connectors can do that. It's really, really common. Or if you have burnt up connectors, you must do this. You don't have a choice. Got it. Trying to see how fast I can do it. It's like when I used to deliver pizzas, they used to have these competitions to see who could fold as many boxes the fastest, and all it was just a gimmick to try to get us to fold more boxes. But when you start racing and stuff, you get a lot done, and you don't really think about all the work that went into it or the time, which is the good part. So we didn't really do a whole lot on this. Most of it that I did was cleaning the play field and checking my color matching for the touch-up paints and stuff. But this will cover quite a bit of ground. So there's no way I'm going to make you guys watch all this, because it could take me, a couple hours or so. Once I get in a groove, it's not so bad, but it's hard to get in a groove. Especially if it's your machine. Nobody's paying you to do it. You can just walk away anytime you want. But one thing we can take away from this is always change your batteries. Trust me, if you ever forget and you let one just crap all over your machine, you will hate yourself. I actually didn't let that happen, but one that I bought I didn't realize was as bad as it was, and I let it was corroding. It didn't look that bad from the front. On the back it was really bad, and it just ruined the MPU. I played it for like 2 or 3 months, and it just sucked that stuff all through the traces. It's an awful feeling. I mean, it was $230 for the new MPU, so it's not that bad, but at the time, I didn't have anywhere near $230. So it hurt much worse. But always remember to change your batteries. And always double check all your work. Just like, that's why not a whole lot got done on camera in this episode, because I was sitting there holding the little repair guide. There's tons of info on these. I think multiple sites had stuff. The last few that I've worked on were all Gottlieb's, so I was using kind of the same repair site. I don't know if it was all on PinWiki or where it was that I was getting it from. I'll have to update that in the description, but it's really, really handy. And so many people have already gone through all this trouble and know what the problem issues are already, and it's just so easy. Us arcade guys are starting to get our stuff documented, but the pinball guys have been doing this for documenting anyway for much, much longer. I don't know who had the forum first, but there was a lot of dumb arguments and stuff on the arcade side. That's all right though. That's all kind of fun too. Okay, and like I said, remember you get the flat part towards the opening. Oh, I broke it off. I crimped that one a little hard, a little heavy-handed. And if you haven't done much of this, always get extra. I think it's like at Marco, it's like 100 pins for like $9-10 or something like that. It's not that bad. And you will use them in other games. It's not just pinball. You can see this is a standard size of Molex connector. We run into them all the time on the arcade side. So on the pinball side, you'll definitely use them. I think these two are the most common that I use anyway. How many we got in here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Yeah, 4. We'll get through this one and I'll end the video and we'll recap. We'll recap my absolutely nothing. But I will show you the play field. I think I just thought that the machine was going to work, and I just needed to get rid of that battery damage. I didn't look it over enough, I guess. Oh, I gotta peel a little piece back. Oh, it's too big. Kind of hard to do off to the side, looking on the camera instead of watching what I'm doing. Still just getting a little piece off of there. But once you do, these pins and these inside these connectors, then you do the headers on the other side. You have a great established connection after that. Here we go. Already got one in there. And the pins get oxidized, the header pins get oxidized. So you have two things that basically have a condom on and can't touch each other. It makes for a tough time for getting a signal through, or power. All right, 3 to go. Yeah, now I'm starting to get the hang of it. Make sure I'm on camera here. I like to zoom in and then start showing you all kinds of stuff that's not on camera. So this connector here, it had quite a few wires on it. Most of them in this machine, well, I wouldn't say most of them. There are a lot of them that only have like half of a connector full. So you can tell kind of time-wise how long it'll take you. I'm jamming on it. I'm doing it pretty fast. But like I said, once you do a couple, you kind of just get the hang of it. You get a little system down. You get something like this where you got a tray. You don't have to worry about scratching anything up. You just power through it, talk to yourself or your phone like I do. That's why the cat's always on my case, because she thinks I'm sitting here talking to her. Ooh, I was about to be devastated. I thought I lost all the footage from over here doing all the back box. Came in after this stuff is in there, and I started repinning with you guys. And when I looked at my camera, it was off, and I thought I lost everything, but it showed up. So I ended up, I think together we did this one, and then I did this one by myself afterwards, and then this one and this one. And so I was going to go ahead and start over and show you guys how to do it on this one. But since the footage showed up, I'm much happier. We don't have to do that and go through. I see we have about 20 minutes of footage on pinning these. What I do want to show is I was doing some looking around. Over here on this rectifier board, let's see if I can get you in here a little closer. You see that nasty green line that's on there? That is battery alkaline damage. So this whole housing and everything is going to have to be replaced. But let's pull it out, and it actually, I traced it back. Let me zoom out. I traced it back, and it came from this bottom connector over here. Right, where's my finger at? There it is, right there. And we're going to pull out that side too and look at it real fast, just so I can show you what happens is it gets kind of sucked through the traces. The electricity sucks it through, I guess, is the best way to describe it. Let's take a look at what the pin looks like. I don't think there's any way of really cleaning out this housing enough that I would trust it. Did I get it? I don't think I got it. Oh, gross. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off of there. We know where it goes because it's marked. Okay, we zoomed in. Oh, come on. You can see the green that's all over it. I don't know if the light's hitting me right. I'm having trouble with the light today. Very gross. So most likely this wire all the way through, and it looks like it has got this green alkaline crap all over it. The other thing that I found, I meant to talk about it because I found before we started filming, So the battery on the MPU that was here before is somewhere here in the middle. And one thing I wanted to check to see if it had dripped down, because I've had several boards and other pinball machines that were just ruined underneath it, but the MPU was okay pretty much. And so I did pull it out. There's the, I did show you this one here, this transistor. There's another one or two, where it looks fine, but if you look at the legs going through the board, they're super green. And then a couple of these guys over here got it. And other than that, it looks okay, but it's definitely got some damage. So I have to do a little bit of preventive maintenance on that. It hasn't started going through the traces or anything like that, but we'll clean it up and make sure it's okay. And I have those parts on the parts list. But definitely the back box looks a whole lot better. I didn't mention that. Got all that dirt out of there and stuff. But this is how the machine's going to look. The MPU is going to go on this bottom part. I could have swore I had it up on the top part before, but that's fine. I think it makes it a little easier for the connectors. And I think it was this one that had the green all over it. Let's see. Was it that one or this one? Oh, it was this one because it's a solid gray. Yeah, it's one of these guys right here. But yeah, we're going to have to remove that housing. We'll start from scratch on that, and that's fine. We'll just take them one wire at a time, and then we'll just string a fresh wire all the way around for this really gross one. So I don't want to trust using part of that wire at all. I don't want it to suck. Okay, that was totally my fault. I'm out of storage now. But that's pretty much all we need to cover as far as that. Moral of the story, don't forget your batteries in the back box. I always tell people to pick a day of the year and do it every year on that day, which the easiest is going to be your birthday, unless you're one of those people that has a lot of plans and stuff like that. But always remember to take them out, because you're going to be heartbroken if you don't. And with this next video for tomorrow, well, this one will come out tonight and kind of be tomorrow's video. And tomorrow afternoon or so, I'm going to do a standalone video on heating these plastics up and flattening them out. I think that needs to kind of be its own video anyway, because a lot more people are going to look that up than me restoring a game. But thanks for watching, guys. Sorry there was some hubbub and snafu. You probably didn't know about it, but I was the one dealing with it. But thanks. We'll see you on the next one. So these two right here are going to be ground and 5 volt. So what do we get here? Did I not turn the game on? I didn't turn the game on. I guess that would help. Hang on.
Here it is. A nice little trade. The person I traded got what they wanted. I got what I wanted. And a pretty good deal on it too. Super hang on.
Get what I want.
That comes later.
Yeah.
Okay. It's on fire.
Whoa.
Lots of smoke.
Well, that's bad.
Yeah, well, thanks for watching.
When you take care of people, people take care of you in this community.
That's the truth.
So everyone, please remember that. Even if we're competitors, we're not enemies.